Coming up on Peninsula Beat, Congressman Ted Lieu comes to the Hill to talk to local residents. Are you ready to go from high school to college? We hear from the experts on how to make the transition stress-free. A local charity celebrates youth at their annual fundraiser, while another charity prepares for an event that supports families in need. It's a wild ride for one local resident as he races for charity, and the Terranea Resort introduces a new brew that everyone is excited about. U.S. Congressman Ted Lieu was a guest of honor at a breakfast event sponsored by the Palos Verdes Peninsula Chamber of Commerce. Liz Brown-Swanson has more on the Congressman's visit to the Hill.
The Peninsula's U.S. Congressman Ted Lieu met with local elected officials and leaders in the business community at the Palos Verdes Country Club.
I'm going to be talking about the economy, how we continue to grow our economy, and some of the challenges we're facing, especially along the technology front, in terms of how cybersecurity affects all businesses. You also have issues related to your own smartphones and how they can be hacked. And also want to talk about challenges related to these businesses that need to have these new card readers with this new chip. But if they don't have these new card readers, then they're going to start getting penalized. But they can't get these card readers because they haven't been certified yet. So there's this long-going problem that I'm working on to try to solve.
During the event sponsored by the Palos Verdes Peninsula Chamber of Commerce, Congressman Lieu reported on some of the legislation he has sponsored on Capitol Hill.
So very excited to have been able to advance issues related to veterans. Last year I authored legislation with Senator Feinstein that got over $35 million to retrofit VAs in Southern California, including West LA VA, and we're going to continue to make sure that veterans who are homeless get the housing that they need.
The Democratic congressman was applauded for his track record in dealing with issues at the federal, state, and local levels.
Our chamber, will take positions of support or opposition to pieces of legislation. We can get to him and his staff at any point in time. He really wants to hear from the constituents.
I'm very happy he's there because even though things are so divided and you're not allowed to move off the lockstep, Ted brings things to a center ground, and he makes it so that he is the face of the new generation of Congress, and it's going to have to be where people work together, because if they don't, this polarization is not going to get us anywhere.
Congressman Ted Lieu's report today to the chamber covered so many issues, from the problems of cybersecurity to the issues of homelessness, and he definitely found bipartisan support in his efforts to continue to bring as many federal tax dollars back to the South Bay as he can. I'm Liz Brown-Swanson reporting for RPVtv.
It's a busy time for high school seniors as they get ready for college life. Caitlin Semko sat down with Peninsula High counselor who talks about how students can be better prepared for the transition into a university.
I'm Caitlin Semko, and we're here at Peninsula High School to get some tips for parents sending their kids off to college for the first time. So what can you tell parents about getting ready to send their kids off to college for the first time?
I know that this is a very emotional time for both students and parents as you're coming upon graduation, and for parents to start thinking that their children are going to be leaving and going away. I think the word I would like to use is to think of this as a time of celebration. Their children have been going to school for 17, 18 years, and now they're about to embark on this new journey of learning for 4 years at a college. And I tell the kids that I believe that each person has a gift to offer the world to make it a better place. And through this journey in their 4 years of college or whatever they're doing, they will figure out what that gift is and learning. I like to tell the parents to think of this celebration of their children going off to become the people that they're going to be.
And what do you think some important things that parents should discuss with their students, tell their children before they go?
Okay, number one is how to do their own laundry, and the old don't mix the red with the white or you get pink. I would tell them to make sure they know how to take the bus. I know my own daughter, when she went off to college, was not familiar with taking buses and went 2 hours in the wrong direction and was very late for her first appointment, and she said, "Mom, make sure you tell kids to learn how to take the bus." So learning how to use public transportation. I would tell them to understand what the words time management mean, and they can start right now because college and time management is very different than high school was. I would tell parents to teach their kids about money and finances. That is critical. And I mean in detail, to have that discussion and to prepare for the expenditures that they're going to be making, and let the kids take an important role in establishing their understanding. I would tell parents to be prepared for phone calls at different hours of the night, because you never know when your child might just want to, hey mom, wondering what you were doing, just wanted to say hello, and to just chat and to be willing to do that. Maybe they can designate a certain time, once a week, once every 2 weeks, or whatever is agreeable between the parent and the student. I would also tell the parents to be prepared that when their students come home in winter break, it's going to be different. It's like when you drop your child off for kindergarten, and it was a different feeling, right? So same thing when you drop them off for college and then they come home for the first time. It's joyful and it's special, but it's going to be different.
And there you have it. For more information, contact your local guidance counselor. This is Caitlin Semko.
And when we come back, we take you to a local fundraiser that supports youth in our community. And if you love coffee, you won't want to miss this new blend that's brewing at the Terranea Resort. We'll be right back. Recently, there has been an increase of burglaries in our community. The Sheriff's Department and the Police Department are working hard to combat the problem, and they would like you to get involved. If you see something, say something. If you see something out of the ordinary in your neighborhood, take pictures and call the police. Be on the lookout for unidentified vehicles or persons in your neighborhood, and write down license plate numbers and vehicle descriptions so you can give accurate information to law enforcement. Get to know your neighbors and form a neighborhood watch. Let neighbors know when you're out of town so they can watch over your house. Remember to lock your doors even when you're home. Secure gates and backyard access at all times. Keep valuables out of sight and arm your home with an alarm. Never let strangers inside of your home. Request identification from people who claim they need to work on your house or say they're from the utilities company. If you see something, say something. Let's prevent crime together. For more information on crime prevention, go to the website lameda.lasd.org.
The earthquakes you see in movies are one thing, but real life is a completely different animal. Just because you can't predict an earthquake doesn't mean that you can't prepare for one. In the event of a real earthquake, you should drop, cover, and hold on. Visit ready.gov/earthquake and practice what to do to keep you and your family safe in the event of a real earthquake. And you'll be seen as a hero by your family and your loved ones.
Keeping young people in our community on the right track is the goal of local charity Freedom for You. This year at the annual fundraiser, I caught up with some community members and supporters of the charity who talk about the importance of these programs.
This is our annual fundraiser here, our Freedom for You event. Our theme is Releasing Youth into Their Purpose is our theme this year. And the funds from tonight are going to support school-based counseling. It's going to support weekend activities for kids. It's going to support after-school programs and life skills groups for middle school kids and things like that.
You know, I talked to a lot of the principals at the high schools, and they both will talk about the fact that, you know, what you guys do with your after-school programs really helps them and helps the kids to go to a better place, you know, and it fills their time. Talk about your relationship with the high schools.
It's really grown. It's really fantastic. It's great. We kind of work hand in glove together, and we try to support what they're doing, and they help, you know, work together with us. And they identify the students that need help, and then we work together, whether it's during school day or after school or a weekend activity, trying to keep kids in a focus in a healthy direction and kind of getting out of trouble. And also the kids that are really struggling, to try to help those kids so they don't get worse.
Greg Allen is really the reason why a lot of our students are socially, emotionally healthy. Just this year alone at Palos Verdes High School, he spent so many hours. One of the best things that he's helped do this year is he helped us establish a drug task force, which is a collaboration and a group of parents, teachers, a lot of students, law enforcement, and we really tackled a lot of challenging issues. What I really like about Greg, he does a lot of work in the community, but his personality of honesty and just bringing the truth, especially to our parents and our students, that is really valuable, and that comes at, I have to say, it just, when you talk about students' lives, you really can't put how many hours in the work, but he understands, and he is just relentless. So an event like tonight for Freedom for You, this is one of the best and highlighted events of the whole school year.
Greg offers counseling for our students who are struggling, students who have, unfortunately, substance abuse problems, and he's just always there for us, always willing to do a presentation. He offers so many opportunities for our kids in the area of music, photography contests. I think we have the Idol contest coming up. He is single-handedly keeping our kids busy, healthy, doing the things they should be doing. We're very lucky to have him in this community.
Greg has a similar mission here, and so I've known him for several years, and I've come up here and helped him with this evening. It's a great evening. A lot of the kids, wasn't it cool to have those kids greeting us at the door, and big smiles, being sociable and everything? That's kind of cool, and I like the thought that they're being facilitated with an opportunity to grow up and interact, develop social skills, not just all about the books, but you got to be able to interact with folks, and Greg's doing a great job of coming alongside these kids. Teamwork, camaraderie, social skills and that are developed, leadership, and sometimes some of the best leaders are the best followers, and so learning how to be role players and learning how to interact and learning how to see a project through and execute your role in that project are all skills that Greg is trying to teach. They're all skills that I had to personally interact with for 20 years as a football player, and they're still serving me today.
And this event just seems to grow every year. I know it'll be a full house tonight. Talk about that. Yeah, it's great. We have a great turnout tonight, great items people have donated, and we have Jackie Slater of the Los Angeles Rams will come. And he's a 20-year veteran, so he's going to talk a little bit. And we have some real significant people coming to help us out. The community is invited to the 23rd annual A Day at the Races fundraiser for the Assistance League of San Pedro South Bay. The June 4th benefit takes place at the Santa Anita racetrack and will raise thousands of dollars to help local families in need. Liz Brown Swanson met with some volunteers putting on the event and has more on the exciting horse race extravaganza.
The race is on for these volunteers with the Assistance League's auxiliary group, Los Profesionales. They're gearing up to host the 23rd annual A Day at the Races fundraiser at the Santa Anita racetrack on June 4th.
Day at the Races is a lot of fun. My whole family, as well as most of the families of all of the members of our group, can't wait for it to happen.
Last year's charity benefit raised $23,000 to help support the many programs operated by the Assistance League of San Pedro South Bay, which is headquartered on 8th Street.
We are celebrating our 80th year. So we've been with this community for quite some time. What we do is we provide assistance, like our name says, but mostly to families and to children in our community. We have an Operation School Bell, which provides school uniforms to needy children. For example, we have a program called Operation Hug, and so we provide teddy bears to local police stations, to all of our local hospitals. We run a dental center, so for those children that are not in a position where their families are not able to take them to the dentist, we want to make sure they have dental care.
The Assistance League has provided millions of dollars in services and generates income from its gift shop and operating the country's only volunteer-run post office. Volunteer groups like Los Profesionales bring in extra dollars to fund vital necessities like assault survivor kits for victims of abuse.
The kits go to our affiliated hospitals. We have youth kits and adult kits, and we assemble them with toiletries, flip-flops, underclothes, different size pants and tops. I was looking for a group that I was passionate about, and my interests are in protecting our seniors, protecting our children and families.
What is Los Profesionales?
Okay, well, we were formed in 1992 as a reaction to the fact that there was a lot more working women, and people couldn't spare the time to go to a luncheon during the day, so we would have our meetings at night.
Many of these volunteers live on the peninsula and are grateful to give back. They hope a day at the races will again bring the community together for a winning event.
It's just a wonderful event. It's an event to support all these programs that these wonderful ladies have talked about ahead of us. We have a bus that leaves the chapter house here at 9:30 in the morning. Refreshments are provided so that you are maybe having a little champagne on your way, getting excited. And now we have a lower level right at the turn where the horses turn. It's a wonderful place. There's betting windows, there's a bar, and a wonderful setup for a buffet luncheon.
Again, mark your calendars for June 4th for the day at the races. If you are interested in attending the event or just getting involved with the Assistance League, you can call at 310-832-8355. I'm Liz Brown Swanson reporting for RPVtv.
And when we come back, it's a wild ride for a local resident at the Long Beach Grand Prix. And if you're looking for a new cup of joe, we have just the brew for you. Don't go away. Recently, there has been an increase of burglaries in our community. The Sheriff's Department and the Police Department are working hard to combat the problem, and they would like you to get involved. If you see something, say something. If you see something out of the ordinary in your neighborhood, take pictures and call the police. Be on the lookout for unidentified vehicles or persons in your neighborhood, and write down license plate numbers and vehicle descriptions so you can give accurate information to law enforcement. Get to know your neighbors and form a neighborhood watch. Let neighbors know when you're out of town so they can watch over your house. Remember to lock your doors even when you're home. Secure gates and backyard access at all times. Keep valuables out of sight and arm your home with an alarm. Never let strangers inside of your home. Request identification from people who claim they need to work on your house or say they're from the utilities company. If you see something, say something. Let's prevent crime together. For more information on crime prevention, go to the website lameda.lasd.org.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath.
He's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
I love Toes because she's a lazy diva. Toes does whatever she wants, obviously.
And in sports, one of our local residents has been living his dream by driving in the celebrity race at the Long Beach Grand Prix. I sat down with Dave Pasant, who shares his journey all the way from the racetrack.
A good friend of mine, Lieu, was one of the founding members of the Grand Prix Association, and so he was influential in getting me involved. And I'd come, and we'd go to the charity balls and be involved in auctioning off this, that, or the other thing. And one day I just like, okay, I'm going to bid on the celebrity race, and that was in 2001. And I had no idea what I was getting into. It was like, oh. But ultimately, racing is unique because it bites you. I mean, you either fall in love with it or you run in horror. And I fell in love with it. And eventually, over the years, my skill levels kept getting a little better. And of course, the charity aspect of the money going to the Grand Prix Foundation to help the local charities, as well as the Racing for Kids and the Miller's Children's Hospitals, it made it just one of those things I just wanted to do from there on out.
All right, so the very first time that you raced in the race, what were you thinking? What was going through your body?
I was absolutely terrified. I could not believe what we were doing, but I came in fourth my first race in the celebrity class. And so, well, it was such a high. I said, I got to do this again. So we bought into the thing, and then finally I win on 2015.
Well, what did that feel like to win the race after all these years?
Frankly, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I mean, I to this day, every day I wake up and I think of that race in one form or another at some point of the time. I mean, it was unbelievable to me that over that period of time I was able to hone my skills in enough to be able to do it. And more importantly, I did it when I was 64 years old. I'm the oldest guy ever to have won this race.
And to be good at it on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in the Jimmy Vassar and Al Unser class by far.
That's almost not fair that Jimmy Vassar and Little Al are in this race, please.
No, Jimmy's a good friend of mine because, I raced with him in 2010. And Max Pappas raced with my wife, so I know a lot of these guys, but it's like nobody has ever had to defend their championship with this kind of a field. I'm honored to be here. I think of it like the Masters tournament in golf, where if you've won a major, you get to come. And so I won it, and I did it on a legitimate basis. I'm here, and I have virtually no expectation because this field is so good.
Friends and neighbors said to you over the years, thinking, my next door neighbor Dave just happens to race in the celebrity race at Long Beach every year?
They think I'm nuts. And what was interesting was last year I said, this was my 6th time. And so I mentioned, I said, hey, I'm going to be racing in the race. Oh, you're going to do that again? Nobody came. None of my friends came. It was like, oh, we've done it so many times. You're going to win it. I win it. Now I got like 14. I got this entourage. Now everybody wants to go. I says, you're picking the wrong year.
And finally, there's a new roast brewing at the Terranea Resort. Coffee connoisseur Mark J. Dottie introduces us to Terranea's signature blend.
We're here at Sea Beans at Terranea, where they are serving a new brew of coffee, the Terranea blend. Let's find out more.
We just launched a Terranea blend specifically made for the resort here, and it's really exciting. We had an opportunity to get with the staff here, the executive chef here, and we actually did a tasting of coffee from different regions from around the world, and we gave them the opportunity to select and choose coffees that they thought were exceptional and that would be a good fit for the menus and the lifestyle here at Terranea. So we put those coffees together and we made a special blend just for Terranea Resort.
How often do you come for a cup of coffee at Sea Beans?
Several times a day.
And why do you prefer this coffee shop over others?
Oh, it's close. It's wonderful coffee. Great stuff here. So it's easy.
What do you think about the Terranea Resort?
Oh, it's fantastic. Is there a better one out there?
We are coffee drinkers, we're from New York, so it's nice to have a place where we can come down and get some coffee in the morning.
Black coffee is available exclusively in Sea Beans as well as in Marcel. So anyone wanting to come down, have a cup of coffee, and experience the black coffee blend should do so in Sea Beans as well as Marcel.
Not only do we hire guys that are coming out of foster care and out of gangs and out of prison, but we also give a financial resource back into the nonprofit to help shore it up. We have a men's home in the inner city in South LA, and part of the resources go to provide for the needs there at the home, and as well as preparing to launch businesses in the future. We are not only selling coffee at Terranea Resort, we sell coffee to other restaurants and resorts, hotels, businesses all around Los Angeles. And if you want to buy from us directly, you can go to our website, which is blackcoffeela.com. The Terranea blend is an exceptional coffee. It's really nice. The blend that we most commonly use is our extra bold blend. And it kind of goes with
What's the sound of that? Sounds really good.
Well, here's the thing. We are an air roaster. So only about 1% of coffee roasters in the world roast the way we roast. And so what that does is it allows us to get a really deep, dark, rich cup of coffee that isn't burnt and bitter tasting. And so that's where our extra bold comes in. And it's also part of our mission. We're about inspiring a bold awakening. And so in that, we're a bold people. We're going to give you a bold cup of coffee, and we're going to challenge people, go and be bold.
Well, you know where to find me. I'll be right here at Sea Beans at Terranea having the boldest cup of coffee in town. For RPVtv, this is Mark J. Dottie.
That coffee sure looks good. And that will do it for us. From everyone here at RPVtv, make it a great day.